Panthers against the 16th ranked in all of the land, Pace University Setters. Well, we've got a big one on hand in the Goldstein Fitness Center, and what a way to get things going on a big week of basketball for the Pace men's basketball program. 2 games at home and a chance to solidify an NCAA tournament at-large selection. Let's take a look at the starting lineups first for the visiting Adelphi Panthers, coached by Dave Duke in his 10th season, 162-123 career record. This is his second 20-win campaign of his career. The Panthers have won 6 consecutive games, both in the conference and overall. And Adelphi is led by Andres Fulgencio, the senior guard, 6'4", from Englewood, New Jersey. The 2-time transfer from Bloomfield and UMass Lowell has tallied 1,442 points in his time as a college basketball player. Deshaun Walton, the NE10 Rookie of the Year 2 seasons ago, and last season an NE10 first-team selection. Well, he's amassed 1,241 career points, all in an Adelphi uniform. 13.5 points, 5.5 rebounds for the 6'4" junior guard from Albany. Al Fatir Connor, another Bloomfield transfer, gets 19th start of the season, averaging just under 8 points a game and just over 3 rebounds a contest. Connor picks up the start, does the junior guard from Elizabeth, New Jersey. Mason Jackson, another one of the talented backcourt mates for Dave Duke. Jackson, the native of Baltic, Connecticut, 6'6" junior guard, has started every game on the season for the Panthers, and he's the only player to have accomplished that mark. Jarnell Rancy, the transfer from Caldwell, makes his home in Middle Island, New York, leads the team, the region, the conference, and all of humanity in block shots. 96 swipes on the season for the big man. The 6'8" senior forward is the best shot blocker in all of Division II. So it's Connor, Walton, Fulgencio, Jackson, and Rancy, the 5 for the number 15th ranked Adelphi Panthers, 23-5 overall, in first place at 15-2 in the NE10. Countered by the Pace Setters, 21-4 overall, 13-4, solo second in Northeast 10 competition. Coached by Matt Healing, the 2004 Monmouth University graduate, is in his 9th season at Pace, 138 and 121. And this group is led by Trey Alexander. The graduate student stands 5'10", 436 assists in 2 seasons at Pace. That's 5th on the all-time list. 746 points in his 2 seasons at Pace. 234 assists in his career. That's tied for first, or 234 assists this season. That's tied for first with his assistant coach, Brandon Jacobs, for the most ever assists in school history. Assist number 1 tonight will mean that Trey Alexander has that mark to himself. The 73 steals he's amassed this season, that's tied for 4th in a single season in Pace history, and is just 12 shy of Rodney Reese and the all-time mark. So it could be a big-time campaign on his way to all sorts of accolades already for Trey Alexander, not to mention that he's 1st in the nation in assists, 3rd in steals, 9th in double-doubles, all while being 8th in minutes played. Trey Boyd III, we call him Trey, the sophomore from St. Rose, leads the team in free throw percentage and threes made. In fact, those threes made, 59 on the year, that's 5th in the Northeast 10 Conference. Jabari Nurse looking for a good night, the native of Boston, Massachusetts, 6'4" junior, into double figures on his campaign at 11.5 points a game, all while being 2nd to Alexander in steals in the conference. In fact, Nurse has accumulated 48 steals on the year. That would be best of all players on Adelphi, kind of like Rancy's blocks 96, obviously that would be best, but the 19 blocks of Mason Jackson, second on the team, well, that would also lead pace. So it's a dynamic that both teams do things differently, and they do them well. Josh Hobson, the transfer from New Haven and native of Montclair, New Jersey, averaging just over 6 points and 5 rebounds a contest, and is 8 of his last 12 from three-point range. And Jaden Keeley, 8 double-doubles on his career, 7 this season, the native of the Canterbury School, much like his point guard, Trey Alexander, the junior 6'5" from Center Marquise, New York. Leads the team in field goal percentage and rebounding. So it's Keeley, Boyd, Nurse, Hobson, and Alexander for the pace setters in what is the first ever meeting in this building between two men's basketball programs inside the National Top 25. Great to have you alongside, Jack Cunningham, and I know you're excited. I know the coaches are excited. I know the NE10 people are excited. Just about everybody is really thrilled to be able to see such a great matchup between the two best teams by the statistics and by the records of the NE10.
Oh man, it's going to be so exciting. All eyes have been on this game. People still pouring into Goldstein Fitness Center. We knew that the Pace Setters fans were going to come out and support, especially not only two top national ranked teams, not only the 1 and 2 in the NE10, but it's also one of the biggest rivals that Pace can have. Adelphi has rivaled Pace in almost every single sport. So I think it's going to be a huge turnout. I think it's going to be such a fun game. Can't wait to see all the action.
Two teams very similar arenas in Garden City. It's almost identical to the way you enter the building here in Pleasantville. Just depending on your point of view, I think this is a gorgeous arena. I happen to think the arena in Garden City is very nice as well. And you know, it's a rivalry day here in the NE10 as you've got AIC facing off against Assumption. You've got New Haven and Southern Connecticut searching for the victory in New Haven. The Battle of Manchester between St. A's and Southern New Hampshire. And, of course, you have Bentley and St. Michael's. They've kind of developed a rivalry from over the years, at least in men's basketball. Not quite the same in women's basketball. Bentley's been the gold standard on the women's side, but whatever the case, we're underway. So glad you've joined us in this first matchup between top 25 programs in Goldstein Fitness Center history. Javed Trotman, Joseph Carcione, and Chris Anderson, today's game officials. The Panthers win the tip, and we're underway in the Goldstein Fitness Center on Flow Sports. 3 launched by Valencio, misses, and the one-hand rebound for Alexander. They'll slow things up. Hobson been getting touches early to try to get him in rhythm. Boyd off the curl, takes it through the center, lays it up. It drips off the front rim. Keeley offensive rebound, and he's fouled. Keeley, 4th in the conference in offensive rebounds, gets his first of the day, and it'll be 2 free throws for the junior. The Setters are the 4th best free throw shooting team in the conference. They get there the 3rd most times in the league. Keeley, this is not his best location at 65%. He's been up and down, tends to be streaky. And hopefully for Matt Hilling, that's not a harbinger of things to come. Second was no good as well. Adelphi saves the rebound in, and it's Walton putting it in drive. Francie outlets the pass to Jackson. Valencio, motion offensively. Walton gets it into the paint, kicks it back out. It ends up Valencio, sheds Alexander, has him on the back, pulls up from the free throw line, misses, and Nurse, 2-hand takedown of the glass.
I mean, you can't play pretty much any better defense than you did right there. Every single look was covered.
Trey Alexander trying to help Josh Hobson understand where to be on the basketball floor, and instead Hobson watches the ball go out of bounds. It'll be a turnover credited to Trey Alexander, but I think that was a good pass, just maybe a foot off the mark. Hobson's got to get off his mark and get to the basketball. Still scoreless, coming up on 90 seconds into the first. Rancy, rare baseline drive. Finds a cutting Connor, lays it up, no good, but it'll get to the free throw line as he's fouled from behind. Panthers, the 5th best free throw shooting team in the conference at 73%. But they do not get here very often, 9th in free throw attempts per game. First free throw off the heel. That was an ugly one. Spun right back into the restricted area. Connor with a chance to give the team the lead, and he does. 69% on the season for Connor, and kind of an awkward-looking 1-0 on the scoreboard. Boyd between the rings, gave it up, and then is knocked to the floor, and he traveled with it, and then stepped over by Walton, and this is a little bit of a physical game in the early going. And the referees are going to have to do a yeoman's work trying to keep these teams from showing how much they want this one. Connor drives baseline, stepped out of bounds in doing so. It's the first Panther turnover. And we're still 1-0.
Well, we're on the board.
Well, Adelphi is. At least somebody scored. Remember a couple of games ago, they didn't put the points up. They kept the scoreboard blank. At least they got the 0 up there today. Feels awfully lonely when there's no number up there. Alexander snakes through, gets to the baseline, has Hobson one-on-one against Rancy. Lefty shot doesn't fall, and the glass cleared by Valencia. Alexander tried to poke it away, did it for a second. Walton got it back. Rancy against Hobson. It's Walton, the pull-up, rise and fire. That's no good, and Alexander, the D-board, has his head on a swivel. Adelphi back. Spin move to the lane, ran into his own guy in Keeley. That'll extinguish that momentum for the time being. Never deterred, Alexander signals out the offense. 15 to shoot, under 17.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Nurse looking at the high hands of Walton. Bounce pass, 7 to shoot. Hobson, double team shows, 3 to shoot. 2 to shoot. Alexander, runner just inside the three-point line. That falls. I'm not sure how it went in, but it did, and Pace has its first lead, and these fans have something to talk about.
I mean, coming off the screen from Hobson, it didn't really look like it helped at all. Alexander still having to heave that from deep over 2 bodies.
Rancy got away with a walk. That leaves a wide open Mason Jackson, misses the three-point shot. And Josh Hobson with the rebound gives it immediately to Alexander. Passes to Keeley, who's knocked out of bounds, or has the basketball knocked out of bounds by Jackson. He just makes people go woo, doesn't he?
Well, you could hear the entire crowd here erupt, but I'm sure that you could see that finding its way on the NE10 social media page for an insane highlight.
And that might not even be the best of the night. We'll see if that's top 3 when it's all said and done. Alexander hesitates on the bounce, gets it inside, has that shot rejected by Rancy, tips the rebound out of bounds. A great eraser, Jarnell Rancy, block number 97 on his career, or his season. That's the 3rd most in a single year at Adelphi. Number 1 and number 2 and number 4 all are Rich Edwards. Rancy passed Edwards to get into 3rd on the list, and he's going to have a ways to go before he can get to 2nd for a single season total. Rancy on the face, takes it to the tin, lays it up, no good. Unkind rims here in Pleasantville. Rancy with a big game the last 2 times these 2 teams faced off against each other. A season-high 12 points in Adelphi's victory, 67-59 in Garden City. Panthers took control of that game early and never relinquished it. Boyd straight on triple, off the heel. Hobson with the O board, put back, goes in. Josh Hobson's got the ups, and Pace has a 3-point edge.
It's really cool to see Josh Hobson getting more and more involved with the offense, becoming more a trusted target.
Taven Pierre-Philippe makes his first appearance, and his presence was felt. The setter's the other way. Keeley, left-handed finish. I don't know if it's an assist by Trey, but Keeley's clapping his hands on the backside. 6-1 setters. Pull up, Walton, too strong. Weak side rebound in the hands of Nurse and Valencio. It's a jump ball. On the floor was Jackson. On the alternating possession, it goes back to Pace. And much like the first game where Adelphi didn't score between the women's game, I'm trying to think how long their first bucket was, Jack, but here it's been 4:59, and Adelphi with just the one free throw. And this is where Pace does the lion's share of their damage early in games, getting leads and then making you play catch up. Not catch up. And I'm not talking about mustard. Hobson spins and finishes. Josh Hobson has been a different player these last couple of weeks. What he doesn't do from the outside, he's doing it from the interior. 8-1 Pace. Three-point shot Price, that's wrong. Boyd, inside, Keeley escapes free and lays it in. And this crowd is electric. Timeout Adelphi will take one as well. It's Pace 10, Panthers 1, 14-18, frozen on the first half clock. Back in a dash with more center basketball after this on NE10 Now and Flow College. And we welcome you back inside the Goldstein Fitness Center. Tim McCaffrey, Jack Cunningham courtside with you. It has been all setters in the first 5 minutes and change. Keeley and Hobson with 4, Alexander with 2. No field goals for Dave Duke's club coming out of that Adelphi Panther timeout. New player in the game, Patrick Burke, the sophomore center from Smithtown. And there's a steal for Trey. He's got behind him Nurse, and boy, Alexander, he's great. And Nurse with the finish.
Unbelievable steal, unbelievable feed. Alexander not even looking towards Nurse.
I didn't even know where the ball was. He's that quick. Well, it's a home court advantage today. You got to keep going with it, right? Rancy, extra pass to Burke, tees up the right arc triple. That silences the crowd. He genuflects for a moment. It's the first Panther field goal of the day, and it comes from distance. Pace 12, Adelphi 4.
Well, I like them bringing Burke in, especially on the defensive standpoint. They've been taking Rancy out of the paint, and Keeley and Hobson have been eating. But, hey, Burke getting it done on the offensive side as well.
Nurse, Keeley, Boyd, Alexander, Hobson, same starting 5. Nurse, oh, that's a tough foul. He was pulled down. That's questionable and slow to get up, Nurse. But if that doesn't pick up the intensity in this game, I'm not sure what will, because that was a reach and a throwdown. And if you want to get physical with the setters, do it at your peril. They don't mind fouling, and they don't mind fouling hard.
Yeah, they're not even going to take a look at it or kind of discuss it between. I guess they think he was swiping down at the ball.
First free throw good by Nurse. It's going to be one of those games, physicality. Watch out up here. Nurse is 68%. Free throw shooter. 13-4 is the score at this moment. 13:03 and blazing in red on the first half clock. Couple of substitutions. Darren Fergus in the game for the first time, along with Jamal Waters. Fergus, a two-time ECC Player of the Year. Nurse converts both. Transferred to West Liberty, where he couldn't get into the rotation, and but he's most certainly got in the rotation here for a nationally ranked team. Sometimes you just got to find a coach who believes in you, and Matt Healing most certainly believes in Darren Fergus, and a credit to Fergus that he's been able to take reduced minutes and thrive. The jump shot for Pierre Philippe misses. Offensive rebound to the Panthers, an extra possession. Price steps into the three, and then he tells Jaden Keeley to be quiet. Oh, the Adelphi Panthers, they have no fear. Couple threes in this game, no twos, 14-7, the Setters on top. Christian Adams up off the bench, but then he circles back around behind it. You got to get to the scorer's table, Chris. Five to shoot. Alexander wants it in his hands. Hesitates at going against Rancy. That's a tall order. High arcing shot is rejected by Rancy. Alexander wanted a switch on the strong side and the weak side from Nurse and Keeley. Didn't get it. And that threw off what he was trying to do offensively. Whatever the case, it's a pace shot clock violation. Just the second turnover of the game for the Setters in over 8 minutes.
Yeah, Alexander shared that everybody wants to block his shot. He's probably got the toughest opponent in Rancy all season.
Yeah, that's one where the big dog can eat, right? Rancy going up against Waters, gets by him, lays it up, net trickles through the netting.
Bit of hang time, stayed up there for a while, but great job. Waters was extremely physical to keep Rancy out of the plate and still fighting his way inside to put it up for 2.
14-9, the Setters up by 5, under 11.5. Rancy knocked it away in the passing lane. Alexander maybe have gotten a piece of it on the flip, and meanwhile it's an offensive rebound pulled in by Burke, and he's fouled on the way up, and the Setters a little bit uncharacteristically sloppy with the basketball in the middle of the floor.
I mean, we know Rancy is just such a threat defensively, but already 2 steals and a block, or 2 blocks and a steal, rather, following that previous steal.
Burke is 68% free throw shooter. Makes the first. Well, Pace has these situations seemingly every game, Jack, where they'll go 2.5, 3 minutes without a field goal. So far, it's been about 2 minutes, and second free throw missed. Christian Adams in the game. 5 points shy of 500 for the fifth-year player who began his career in the 1920 season as a starter on a pretty good basketball team that started the Pace turnaround. Christian Adams has seen it all. Boyd looking for Waters on the cut inside. Can't get the finish, but what a feed from Boyd. He's calling the defense to get back. Pierre Philippe lost his dribble, cross-court pass, and Burke hands it off to Price. Runner left lane adjacent, off glass and in. Adelphi on an 11-2 run has put themselves right in the thick of it at 14-12. 10.5 minutes remaining in the first. Waters near side, mid-post. Boyd got up in the air and lost the basketball. Well, he didn't lose it. He had no one to throw it to. Price on the run out, finds an open Valencio for 3. That misses. Boyd stays off Burke for the rebound. Alexander free throw jump shot misses. Adams with the offensive rebound, and he lost it.
Well, it looks like they'll finally slow things down. It was back and forth.
Man, who put that basketball in melted butter? It is squirting all over the place out there. Rancy, who thought about taking a 3. He won't do that for Adelphi. He did it when he was with Caldwell, but this is a much more disciplined program here in Adelphi and Garden City than the one in Caldwell. Rancy is fouled, and he seems like he's a little shaken up. He'll get a couple of free throws, but the big man with his hands on his shorts trying to get the oxygen into the lungs.
It was a hard hit by Christian Adams, who ran right into him.
Well, it's a 30-second timeout called by Matt Hilling. That'll give Rancy a chance to catch his breath and give us a chance to tell you that Pace University basketball is brought to you by its corporate partners, Northwell Health, Northern Westchester Hospital, and Phelps Hospital, the official healthcare provider of Pace Athletics. West Point Tours, the Sol Brewing Company, Ticket Smarter, Philadelphia Insurance Company, Lucio's Pizza, Pace's official athletic pizzeria. Frank and Joe's Deli, the Anthony Family Foundation for Autism Support. Chartwell's Dining Services, SAS Technologies. Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of Pace Athletics. And the 19th hole indoor golf, bar, and restaurant in Ossining. It'll be Jarnell Rancy to the free throw line. Chance to tie the game.
Setters currently spreading the wealth right now. Keeley, Hobson, and Jabari Nurse all with 4 points. Meanwhile, on the other side, Price with that three-pointer and contested layup. He's up to 5.
Rancy, a 43% free throw shooter, and he looked like 100% right there. That was a nice-looking stroke. Let's see if he can repeat it. Now already would have had another anyway as the violation had been called. Second good for Rancy, but tied at 14.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, but it almost looked like Rancy was kind of laughing at the chants from the crowd. He's feeling it, but must have said something funny down there that caught him off his mark. Didn't matter. He made both.
When you're so not focused that you're hearing the fans, then you're either too focused or way not focused enough. What a play by Trey. Oh, my gosh. How did that go in? Ball went through the net, and he ended up on the floor. Three for the lead for Pierre Philippe, misses off a defensive rebound, Waters, and a little over exuberance by Nuha Sagnia. Boy, talk about bad luck for Sagnia. Began his career at St. Francis in his first season. They shuttered athletics, went to St. Rose. They got rid of the whole school. So after 2 years, he's going to Adelphi. If Adelphi, which we don't think they have any ability, but if they were even close to closing, I mean, this guy would probably never be able to go to another school again.
Worst luck ever.
This time he decided to pick a school with not the name Saint in front of it. Inside, it was Alexander. Fergus doesn't take a lot of threes, instead snakes inside, leaves it to Waters. Nothing muddy about that jam for Jamal.
Nobody wants to jump up in front of Jamal, especially for the two-handed flush. I mean, Fergus, I was a little shocked he didn't take the three there, but ultimately worked out in his favor. Found the wide open look, and Waters right underneath.
Pace back up by 4. A rejection by Christian Adams on the penetration for Pierre Philippe. Three-point shot, Fergus, that's good. Never nervous. Darren Fergus hits the triple, and now the concern is on Christian Adams, who is on the floor in front of the Pace bench. Adams has been beset by injuries in his career, and he is unable to put any weight at all on his right ankle.
Yeah, Fergus was taking an opposite floor, and Adams actually had the block, so he had to regain his footing, and he was still running down the floor. Just kind of twisted his ankle and couldn't make it past the Pace bench. So the athletic trainers would tend to him. Hope everything's all right.
Christian Adams, 495 points in his career. Started in his freshman year. Picked up a double-double. And speaking of schools that don't have athletics, against NYIT. They were in the East Coast Conference at the time. And a foul on the interior. We'll see who it's on. I think this is going to be on Keeley, and it is. On a hold, as he was trying to not allow Sagnia to get free. And it's another steal from Trey to Fergus, and that slam dunk hits off the heel. Nurse with the offensive rebound. Boy, that was some kind of fancy. 3 for Fergus, and he's full of energy and exuberance, and now he's hitting himself in the head, trying to get himself calm. He's a great basketball player, just a little bit too much enthusiasm.
Yeah, I don't think there's really that many players out in the NE10 that are more athletic than Darren Fergus.
Valencio to the 10. Shot rejected by Waters, or at least altered, and rebounded by Alexander. Nurse with a head of steam. Had it poked away by Jackson, but a foul is called. Boy, it's quicker than a hiccup, and when it is, it's hard for everybody to catch their breath, including the officials. Fergus, Waters, Keeley, Nurse, and Alexander, the 5 for Matt Healing. Countered by Walton, Falencio, Jackson, Connor, and Sagnia. Working against Jackson, it's Alexander. Spin cycle, left hand, misses. That ball tips out on the carom to Falencio. Walton snakes in and lays it in. 21-16 the score as we approach 7 minutes to go in the first. It's a game that has a lot of energy, but not a lot of scoring.
Yeah, and we were wondering when Falencio and Walton would get involved. They're some of the top scorers for this Adelphi unit, and they were held to 0 previously before that last second layup.
And one of the reasons that it has been so scoring unfriendly, Alexander had trouble getting free. 7 to shoot, 6:41 to go in the first half. And it'll be 2 free throws on the driving layup attempt by Fergus. Both of these teams are elite when it comes to defense. The Pace Setters are second in the nation second in the conference in field goal percentage defense and 5th in the NCAA. And who was that to? To Adelphi, 4th in the NCAA and 1st in the conference. So 2 of the best defensive teams that the NE10 has seen in recent memory going up against each other. Fergus makes the first free throw. It's a 22-16 score.
Yeah, I can see where you're talking. The scoreboard's still not.
We've had some scoreboard issues here, game after game after game, Jack. And
keeps things interesting. Keeps us on our toes. Make sure we're right.
Both free throws good. Just always, you look up at the scoreboard. It's kind of, as we're broadcasting the game, we do look up at the scoreboard to get time and score. And when it's not right, that is kind of what we report to you. Oh, Rancy got away with a walk. No, he didn't. I mean, he looked like the road runner trying to get to the rim. Meep, meep.
It's funny, too, because there was no one in front of him. I'm not really sure why he picked up his dribble so early.
Not sure why he thinks that that's the move that he needs to make against this Setter team that's so good defensively. Thought he was a three-point shooter at Caldwell, and I think getting into the interior, the best part of his game. Speaking of two-way players, well, Alexander takes the 3. That's good. Alexander the Great. Setter's up by 9.
Yeah, they're going to say last second that his foot was on the line for a 2. It was close.
Price jump stop finds Rancy working over top of Keeley. That doesn't fall, and Hobson with the ups and the D-board clear. Alexander lefty sling pass intercepted by Burke. Couldn't quite get to Keeley. 1-on-4, and a foul called on a foul called on Hobson, and it'll be 2 free throws for Walton.
Yeah, Hobson just still moving in transition. Couldn't really get his feet set, and Walton kind of like a freight train coming. He was not slowing down at all, taking it straight to the cup.
Now Connor with the 2 personal fouls for Adelphi. He's been on the bench for the majority. Walton makes the first trip here. Adelphi 4 of 6 up to this point. Walton can score points in bunches. The NE10 Rookie of the Year became a first-team All-League selection a season ago. Second free throw misses, and Adelphi just 5 of 8 from there, and every point matters in a game where both teams play so exquisite on the defensive side. Hobson seeing Burke on him. Alexander has that shot erased by Rancy. 3rd block of the day for Jarnell. Walton, hand off to Burke. No good on the finish, gets his own rebound, and fans got excited for a second, but after you make that defensive play, you got to pull in the rebound or else you're susceptible to giving up 2 points, as was the case there for Burke.
That was a big bucket for Adelphi as well. It was 11-3 run over the last 4 minutes for pace, but starting to storm closer and closer.
6 points for Burke to lead all Panther scorers, and that's right about at his seasonal average. 4:40 remaining in the first. 6-point pace lead. Hobson dribbling a couple of times to the right. Fergus centers the floor. He sees Walton, hesitates, backs up on the bounce, and accelerates to the rim, throws to a wide open Alexander for 3. That's no good.
It's the second shot clock violation for the Setters offense. And
yeah, thank you. I was caught up between Dave Duke and Joe Carmissione, just kind of getting in a little argument there. And Dave's got to be careful to keep his composure. These officials have done an outstanding job so far. You got to keep letting them do their work. Walton, nice move. Getting by Trey to the bucket, and Alexander hobbling. I don't know if it's a cramp or whatever the case, but Trey needs Fergus to handle the basketball here as he tries to work on what is ailing him with his lower body. 17 to shoot. Fergus. Hobson tees up the 3. Off the brick. Keeley with the rebound. Saves it in to Fergus. Dribbles it right into a double team. And Trey's just standing there saying, I'd like the basketball, please. I'm okay. 11 to shoot. Alexander into a double team. To Hobson, has it stripped away by Fulencio. Up ahead of the field, Walton lays it in, and it's a 2-point game. 25-23 as we approach 3 minutes to go, and Alexander with that. We should mention too, with that assist earlier, we kind of buried the lead as Keeley lays it in, or lays it short-armed it. That assist earlier, by the way, the over the shoulder by Alexander. Baseline jump shot misses from Walton. Offensive rebound, Fulencio. Fulencio a 3 for the first lead of the game for the Panthers misses, and Hobson with the rebound. With that assist earlier, congratulations are in order for Trey Alexander. It was assist number 235 in his pace career, or pace season. Hobson dribbling all over the place, turns it over. That's not where you want your big dribbling. Price, back to Rancy. Price, corner 3 for the lead, you betcha. And he's got more to say to the pace setter bench.
Yeah, Price seems locked in right now. He's got both of his three-pointer attempts and just right off the screen, still moving in that corner. Nothing but net. 8 points for him.
And it is Adelphi's first lead of the game, 26-25. You know, that assist for Trey moved him first in a single season. He still has a chance to become the all-time single-season assist leader in NE10 history. A lot of that is going to have to be determined, of course, by how many games the Pace plays in the future. If they were to get a couple games in the NE10 tournament, a couple games in the NCAA tournament, and Trey were to average 11 a game, he might be able to get to the 300-plus number that is required. So a ways away. And in this game, with just the one assist so far in 18 minutes, certainly well under his seasonal average.
Yeah, he just took over at the number 1 spot in the total assists, but he's still number 2 to Graziani out in Nova Southeastern in assists per game. He's right behind him, but in terms of...
Nobody cares about assists per game.
Well,
the NCAA will hand out 2 separate awards. They send out certificates to the assist leader and the assist per game leader. But let's be honest. Tell me what John Havlicek per game scored. You know, you remember how many points you scored as a total. You don't remember, I averaged 17.2. No, nobody cares about that. What you care about is your total. You never see on the end of the day, you see all the lists in gyms and high schools, you never see, oh, there was Dave, he averaged 9.2 a game. It's always, oh, he scored 1,073 or 1,382. Forget that per game nonsense. Dallas Graziani of Nova Southeastern, currently just a tick ahead of Trey Alexander in the assist per game category. Speaking of Trey, boy, that was a lot of space, a righty layup and a miss. Looked easy. Couldn't get the finish. Rancy had trouble on the reception. Price, burst of energy. Keeley out to meet him. Pierre Philippe, transfer from New Haven and Florida Memorial and Stony Brook, and a three for him. The three-time transfer. Began his career at Stony Brook, matriculated to the University of New Haven and Florida Memorial. Overall in his career, now with 881 points. Boyd answer three, no good. Offensive rebound, Alexander. Boyd, well, this time will take it baseline. He stepped on the end line. It'll be a turnover for the Setters. Pace has not scored in the last 4 and change.
And back-to-back three-pointers by Adelphi. Really expanding on this lead.
Rancy on the handoff. Walton takes it to the lane to Price. Right arc triple, short. Rebound is loose. And a foul is being called on. Boy, I did not see that foul. That looked like a player that was standing there waiting for the basketball, and a foul is called. Matt Healing is apoplectic, and can't say that I blame him. Whatever the case, it's the 6th team foul against the Setters, which means that Adelphi shooting over the last 47.8 the rest of the way on every defensive foul. Adelphi with a chance for a 2-for-1. Price at the free throw line. Snakes it to a wide open Burke, takes the three, misses, weak side rebound Fergus. About a 10-second differential shot in game clock, and Adelphi holds the 4-point edge. Waters baseline drive, has that shot rejected by Rancy. It's his 4th block of the game, and that's 100. That's the century mark in block shots in a single season for Jarnell Rancy. Six seconds to shoot it. Pierre Philippe gets a Rancy screen. Extra pass in the corner. Price three. No good. And the Setters have seen a lead of 11 points slip away. And thanks in large part to a 13-0 Adelphi run, which expanded the final 6 minutes plus of the first half. Pace without a point over the last 6 minutes of the first half. Still only trails 29-25 at the half. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll look at the stats eventually, and we'll tell you about the out-of-town scoreboard. That's all coming up on Flow College and NE10 now. It's Adelphi 29, Pace 25. Back in the dash with that after we do a little business with you on the Pace Setters Sports Network.
For too long, the default in medicine has been man. So Northwell created the only network of experts devoted to every aspect of women's health. When we raise the health of women, we raise everyone.
Life's full of choices. Here's a simple one.
Well, I am a bit of a minimalist.
Life's a cruise, that's the move.
For too long, the default in medicine has been man. So Northwell created the only network of experts devoted to every aspect of women's health. When we raise the health of women, we raise everyone.
Life's full of choices. Here's a simple one.
Well, I am a bit of a minimalist.
Life's a cruise, that's the move.
And we welcome you back inside the Goldstein Fitness Center, Adelphi 29, Pace 25 on NE10 now and Flow College. Well, it was balanced scoring and balanced rebounding for the Pace setters in the first half, leading the way with 5 points, Darren Fergus. 4 points apiece for the four horsemen of Keeley, Hobson, Nurse, and Alexander. And Boyd and Waters with 2 points apiece playing in that first half, leaving with the injury Christian Adams. Rebounding balanced as well for the setters. every player in the game had at least one rebound, and everybody but Trey Boyd had a crooked number in that department, led by Josh Hobson and 5 caroms. 2 assists for Hobson to lead the way in that department. You can count on one finger the amount of times that Josh Hobson has led a half in assists this season, and that first half was it. For Adelphi, Walton 7, Price 8, Burke 6. Rancy tallied 4. Pierre Philippe contributed 3. Connor added 1. Valencio, Jackson, and Sagnia played but did not score. The Panthers shot 32% in the first half, 31% from distance, 39% for the Setters, 20% from long range. Rebounding was won by Pace, +8. Pace also a -6 in the turnover category. The bench points 17-7 in favor of Adelphi. They didn't give credit for the fourth block of Rancy. He's got 3 for Adelphi compared to just the 1 of Pace. Fast break points 2-1, and it's in large part to how well these teams play transition defense, getting you into the half-court sets. 2-1 in favor of Pace. Points off turnovers, a +8 for the visiting team. Points in the paint, a +2 for the home team. Second chance points, 5 offensive rebounds, 6 points for Adelphi. 6 offensive rebounds, 2 tallies for the Setters. Only a total of 11 fouls called in that first half, 2 against Boyd and 2 against Connor, the only players with crooked numbers in that category. Pace led by as many as 11 in the first stanza, 12-1. About 6 minutes into the game, and Adelphi game high total is the number we stand at right now at 29-25. It'll be Alexander, Nurse, Keeley, Boyd, and Hobson, the 5 for Pace. For Adelphi, it's Connor, Walton, Valencio, Jackson, and Rancy. So the same starters for both sides.
Let's see if Adelphi can carry over that success. Went on a 13-0 run in the last 6 minutes of first half.
Well, they're at least going to carry on the success for one possession, as they have the basketball. Hard for Pace to score it without getting it in their hands. All in all, this is going to be close to 7 minutes without a bucket for Pace. They pick up a steal on this possession, and Alexander will survey the defense that is in front of him. It'll be Rancy on the basketball. So that has been a bit of the trouble that Dave Duke has put forth. Rancy keeping an eye on wherever Trey Alexander is. That's the head of the snake. You cut off the head of the snake, and you've got a dead snake. Rancy, the best shot blocker in all the land, stands at 6'8". Trey Alexander at 5'10", and that might be generous. Boyd, monitored by Connor, had it knocked away, and Jackson comes free with it. Hobson gets back into a defensive set and gets him into a half-court rotation. Connor to the free throw line. That's choked off by Hobson, leaves a wide open Jackson, takes the 3, misses. Offensive rebound to the Panthers. Baseline drive, Valencio. That's cut off by Keeley. Leaves a wide open Connor, deep 2. That's a miss, rebounded by Keeley.
Great looks by Adelphi on pretty much every single attempt they had right there, and just none of them able to fall.
Panthers' second best three-point shooting team in the conference. You keep giving them those kind of looks, they're going to convert. Hobson, count it, on a goaltend. It went in anyway. That slices the lead in half to 2. First points of this second half. We've begun the second half a lot the way we started the first. Quite offensively. 90 seconds in, and that's the first points. Valencio finds a seam, and he's fouled. It'll be free throws for Andres Valencia. Began his career at Bloomfield, where he scored 955 points in 3 years. Very quietly surpassed the 1,000-point plateau while at UMass Lowell, and has had a breakthrough season in the final campaign here in Garden City. Well, it's in Garden City, but tonight it's in Pleasantville for Valencio. Leads the team in points at over 15 a game, while also being the top stealer on the squad. Makes the first points of the day for Valencia. Does have 4 rebounds, a couple of steals and assists, no turnovers. But yet to make a field goal. Gets both from the freebie line and lead back up to 4. Well, what was it, well over 6 minutes before Adelphi had its first field goal in the first half. Alexander, the runner doesn't fall. Offensive rebound, Hobson, and he's fouled. So this is a 15-2 Adelphi run that expands for about 8 minutes. What was the last game against New Haven where the Setters didn't allow their first field goal until about the 7-minute mark, and we joked around that Matt Healing would be thrilled to only give up about 1 field goal every 7 minutes, and then in the 14-minute mark, he'd only given up 2. It's a hard path to continue down. Hobson makes the first, 31-28, as the Setters and Panthers play this game just as you would expect it, tight and tense. Hobson makes both. The defense is altered. Setters pick up a little 1-2-2 full court, and it's Alexander with the steal. Nurse may get credit with it. Boyd, a 3 for the lead. Regurgitated offensive rebound. Hobson into a triple team. Right-handed hook shot is good. We are tied at 31. Second tie of the game. Josh Hobson into double figures with 10.
And Hobson continues to be such a menace down below. Another offensive rebound. Just a simple putback against one of the best defenders out there.
Rancy and Hobson, 2 big guys fighting hard, and Rancy woofing in Hobson's face. Those are 1 offensive player, 1 defensive player in reverse. Sometimes you got to tip your cap, and that's what Hobson needs to do to Rancy. Fantastic move. Adelphi up by 2. Boyd snakes free. Takes to the free throw line. 2 for the tie. Off the heel, around, off glass and in. It touched every bit of the rim and dripped right through. Back tied at 33.
Well, we talked about ungenerous rims at the beginning of this game. How about the little help for Trey Boyd? That was hanging up there for a while.
Mason Jackson skirted into the interior, left a wide open Alphateer Connor. Spin move for Deshaun Walton, and that sneaks through the cylinder.
This is a confident Adelphi team. Every single time it looks like the Setters are able to respond, get it close to a tie. It's just another score for Adelphi. They're not going away.
Business is picking up in Pleasantville with the Panthers holding 2. Setters with the basketball. Nurse with a touch, rolling downhill to the lane. It will not count if it goes. It'll be a baseline out of bounds for Pace.
Walton's just as shaken up as Jabari Nurse. Nurse took a second to get up, but he's all fine now. Walton still trying to get up from that injury. Now he seems all good.
It's an intense game. You might be left bruised and battered, and one team will be most certainly left defeated. Nurse working against Rancy. Off glass, no good. Ball tipped back. It comes to Hobson. Finds a seam, lays it up off glass. Too strong, tipped up, no good. And Rancy, with authority, pulls in the D-board. Connor coast to coast. And it's stolen by Trey. Well, that was just erased by Alexander the Great. Third steal for Trey, 3 for the lead. You betcha! Trey with the triple, and the Setters have the lead.
Well, you want to push it up court, get a best look in transition, and Trey Boyd wide open in the far corner.
And another steal for Trey, his 4th of the game. He's ahead of the field, and he finger rolls it in over top of the rim. Trey Alexander with 77 steals in his career. Or 77 steals in this single season, as he's angling for the all-time record of Rodney Reese. Timeout called by Adelphi.
And look at the emotion by Trey. He's screaming at the top of his lungs down there. He's hyped up, and we talked about it throughout the season. He's a very nonchalant guy. He goes about his business, and he shows his craft through his play. But, wow, he is fired up, and he wants this win just as bad as anyone.
Well, he doesn't care about the individual accomplishments. Was talking to the assistant coaches before the game, and he flat out told me he doesn't care about the single season assist record. He doesn't care about a potential single season steals record. He doesn't care about any of the individual accomplishments. What he wants is a team accomplishment, and that's cutting down the NE10 nets. To do that, you've got to get by Adelphi, something that the setters were not able to do in the first meeting between these two. In fact, the Panthers handled pace rather easily in Garden City. So now you got them on the flip. You've got to show the Panthers and get a little confidence yourself how good you are. Everybody thinks these two teams are the best in the NE10. Well, for Pace to know that they're right there with Adelphi, they got to win this game tonight. Matt Healing drawing up something on the whiteboard, has the attention of his five. Same starters, the players that you know and love, in Keeley, Boyd, Nurse, Hobson, and Alexander. Dave Duke in the huddle, actually has broken the huddle with his assistant coaches, leaving the starting five, or at least the five that will be going back on the floor. And it was Andrew Delaney, the longtime Dave Duke dependable player for these Adelphi Panthers, that was running the huddle there following the timeout. Pierre Philippe playing catch with Burke. Burke was open for a second on the double team, 3 to shoot. Valencio snakes free and he gets the layup. That was well designed by Pierre Philippe, just kind of dribbling around the perimeter, and eventually Valencia with the fill, 38-37 pace under 15 minutes. Alexander over top of Rancy, that's hard to do. Had the shot and maybe his shoulder rejected by Rancy on that one. Deshaun Walton against Keeley, and he's fouled. Count it. Deshaun Walton was in spin cycle on the washing machine for quite some time, and eventually Hobson bumped him, and Walton with a chance to convert the three-point play the old-fashioned way, and Matt Healing is very upset about something. Now, there was a lot of contact down this end, and not a call, and this has been a game that the officials have let play on its own, and now Matt Healing is all over Joe Carmissione, clapping at him, because now we're going to call touch fouls. If you're going to allow the physicality on one end, Matt Healing saying, hey, I want it on the other end too. Don't be getting my guys in foul trouble because we're too quick. And now the game might change. And this is where the officials sometimes cannot be better than the caliber of the game. And now Dave Duke is yelling. And now when you've got both coaches yelling, you got problems with your officials. And now another foul call. Well, a game that didn't see any fouls called. That's what happened. So this is, I'm telling you, the official's perspective, is that your adrenaline works too. And when you get yelled at, sometimes your results are a little different. And that's what the coaches are looking for. Every advantage they can find. Adelphi 40, pace 38. But you certainly do not want to see this game change the way it's been called. Alexander, 3-on-1 with Nurse. And a foul is called against Rancy. Boy, that looked like a lot less of a foul than the couple of the prior two, Jack.
Well, I was about to say, actually, every single foul up to that point, it was no question. I thought all of them, I completely agree with the officials down on the floor, but this one, it could have been debatable. And I think that's the reason why Rancy's so fired up. Also, Coach Duke on the other end. Because even Nurse, I thought he had his shot blocked.
Well, sometimes Nurse takes the free throw. That's good. One more, and it'll be a tie game. You know, one bad call, and I think it's pretty safe that that call earlier was not the right call. It gets the attention of a coach. An official then tries to even it out, and now you got the attention of the other coach. The next thing you know, things are spinning out of control. We're tied at 40 on the two free throws for Nurse. So let's just reset it. Tied at 40, 14:06 to play, and no more touch fouls. 1-2-2 full court trap, especially with all the physicality that's been allowed to play through in this game. Rancy won't shoot it from there. On the bounce in the interior to Valencia. Had it poked away by Boyd, but it caroms right to Pierre Philippe. Pierre Philippe, 3 for the lead. Misses short. Keeley with the two-hand snatch pull down with authority and a little Ball fake in midair, mind you. Alexander makes the game go in slow speed all the time. He's just that good. Potential Division II Player of the Year. Boyd hesitating on the bounce. Hands it off to Nurse. Hobson ball fake against Burke. Takes it to the rim. Lays it up, no good. Ball tipped over to Burke. It's a 2-on-2. To Pierre-Philippe. Back to Burke against Boyd. No good on the layup, but it'll be free throws for Patrick Burke.
That's a tough spot if you're Trey Boyd. He likes to try and take a stab at the ball and draws a personal. So that's the third personal on Trey Boyd, and we'll see what Coach Ealing does. Fergus moving to the scorer's table.
Yeah, oftentimes they say, Jack Cunningham, that, oh, it's the game of the day, and it doesn't lead up to the hype. So far, this has been everything and more. Adelphi reclaims the lead off the free throw from Burke. He was 1 of 2 in his first trip to the free throw line and still came in at a 68% clip. 2 of 2, Adelphi holds 2. They have led by as many as 4. And that was the halftime spread. The Setters were into double figures with the lead for a few moments at 11. And Hobson throws, now that's a tough degree of difficulty. Hobson hit a couple of cups on top of the water cooler. And that'll end up, that's what we call a water cooler pass, because you'll end up sitting next to it, Jack.
Alexander almost made a play to try and keep it in bounds. I mean,
and that's just because he's a magician. Alexander, Nurse, Keeley, Waters, and Fergus, the 5 for Matt Healing. 2-point Adelphi lead. On the sideline, it's Pierre-Philippe snaked off. Burke, ball fake, 9 to shoot. Snakes inside and lays it in. He just kept taking what the defense gave him, and the Setters gave him a layup.
A little bit of a spin cycle there, is twirling through several white and gold jerseys.
10 points for Burke, coming up on his career high. Fergus, Alexander has a 3 earlier. Fergus also has a triple. Takes it to the lane, lays it up with the left hand. Count it! And a foul! And a high 5 for Nurse. And a medium 5 and a chest bump for Trey.
Well, I think it just reinforces the point I made before. There's not many people that are as athletic as Darren Fergus. He just has a way to slip through defenders, but also, I mean, when he goes up with that vertical, you got to watch out. He went up for the layup this time, but has a chance for a traditional 3-point play.
Fergus, 77%, makes the 3-point play the old-fashioned way. He earns it. The lead is the slimmest of margins for the Panthers at 44-43. We approach 12 minutes remaining in regulation in Pleasantville on Flo College and NE10 now. Tim McCaffrey, Jack Cunningham courtside with you. Trey Alexander knocks the basketball free away from Burke, but he knocks it to the scorer's table out of bounds. 18 to shoot for the AU Panthers, and 11:59 frozen in red on the second half clock. And business is at an excruciatingly high rate here in Pleasantville, Jack. The intensity, it's proverbial, you can cut it with a knife. You can feel it in this gym. Burke, over top pass to Price. Lefty move, pulls up, rise and fire, misses the shot. Ball loose, comes to Valencio, and a reset of the shot clock for Adelphi. Burke on the handoff to Pierre-Philippe. Pierre-Philippe gets by 2 Setters. Ramsey on the double team. Back to Pierre-Philippe. That shot was rejected by Keeley, but there was a lot of arm there as well from somebody. And they'll say it's on Trey Alexander. And somehow Trey Alexander has played 29 minutes of this game without committing a foul.
Alexander knew it was on him right away, and now he's trying to communicate just to see where it was. But yeah, first personal on Alexander.
Pierre-Philippe, the free throw shooter, the 3-time transfer, makes the first. 77% on the season. He's been quiet, 1 of 6 from the floor today. Just the 1 3 and the 1 free throw for his 4. Pierre-Philippe gets both. The lead is 3 for Adelphi, 46-43.
Yeah, Pierre-Philippe has really stepped up for the Adelphi Panthers as of late. Since his assumption, he's averaged 17.5 points per game.
Fergus lost it for a second. Keeley on the bounce, Alexander, Rancy on him. One of the things that makes this so effective with Rancy is that he can help on the down low as well. That time Waters has it, and a foul, just unlucky by Burke. The ball ended up on the floor. Burke didn't know it was there, and he bumped into Waters, and Waters traveled. And by rule, if you commit a foul that displaces the offensive player, it's a foul. I mean, if you make a little contact, you don't call it all the time. But if they travel, you got to call it, which is the case. Alexander looking for Waters. Instead, he finds Keeley. He won't take a 3. Hasn't made one since Felician. Fergus lefty move inside. He is fouled, and not afraid to get to the bucket is a guy who's never nervous, and that is Darren Fergus. 3-point game, a chance to make it 1 with a couple of free throws for Darren. Now, this is not the only game in the NE10 currently, but it is just one of 2 games that has been competitive tonight. Southern Connecticut 77, New Haven 47, 6.5 minutes left in Connecticut. It's Assumption 84, AIC 57, just under 5 minutes left in Worcester. A final score in Burlington, Vermont, where it was St. Michael's falling to Bentley 84-64. And in Manchester, New Hampshire, it is Southern New Hampshire 52, St. A's 51, with 11.5 minutes to go there. That has erased a 13-point St. A's lead. Now we'll keep an eye on a couple of different games. And Fergus, I believe, touched the basketball while he was stepping on the sideline, and by rule, he's out of bounds. Shot clock stays at 25, 10:45 remaining in the game. 46-45 Adelphi. Valencio had it poked away by Fergus, and it goes off of Valencio out of bounds.
Lots of emotion down on the floor in 2 different types. Valencio just can't simply believe it, really fired up, but Fergus getting hyped up in front of that big crowd.
Keeley, Waters, Nurse, Fergus, and Alexander, the 5. Keeley, near side, handoff Alexander, working against Jackson. Step back 3 for the lead, short. Offensive rebound, Nurse. Double teamed, and he's fouled in the corner by Valencio. Now they're going to say it's Walton with it. You'd have your pick. I saw Valencio with the hit, but either way, the team is over the limit. Adelphi's now committed 8 fouls, which means Pace is shooting the rest of the way. And Rancy with 3 fouls. He's in a spot of bother. Boyd with 3 fouls. And Nurse with a chance to convert on the 1-and-1 to tie the game. And he does. The 68% free throw shooter has us knotted up at 46. This is our 9th tie of the game to go along with 7 lead changes. Nurse, free throw for the lead, you betcha. Jabari has 7, Pace 47, Adelphi 46 as we're about halfway through the second half. Jackson working against Alexander. And Jackson steps on actually that's Alexander, hits the ball away. The ball hits on the baseline, so it's going to be Adelphi ball, 17 to shoot, 10:04 remaining. A lot going on down there.
Yeah, I was about to say, you don't see those types of calls often.
Well adjudicated by this officiating crew. Pierre-Philippe, Burke, Price, monitored by Fergus. Jackson, boy, he looked like he switched his pivot foot right in front of the officials. Price, a 3 for the lead, yes! He turns and says to the fans, I just made a 3. He most certainly did. And Adelphi leads by 2, 49-47. What a game.
Yeah, Price hasn't been shooting it a bunch, but when he has, he's been highly efficient, especially from beyond the arc.
Alexander through the keyhole, dribbles it back out between the legs, hesitates on the bounce, finds Keeley in the corner. Fergus, 3 to beat the shot clock short, and a tie-up on the loose ball as it comes to both Waters and Jackson simultaneously. And that shot clock will reset to 20, and Pace maintains possession on the alternate. Boyd back in for Fergus. Good minutes from Darren. Adelphi 49, Pace 47, 9:13, emblazoned in red on the second half clock. Alexander, Nurse, Boyd, Keeley, and Waters. Bounce pass, Keeley shakes free, lays it in. The patience on the entry pass from Trey, and the finish from Keeley. We are tied. Assist number 4 on the day for Alexander. Walton, Price in the corner, Jackson into the lane, lefty to Burke. Burke gets it inside against Waters, righty hook shot, no good. Rebounded offensively. Walton gets to the baseline, takes the pull-up and knocks it down, and a foul called against Waters. This will be Adelphi basketball as Waters, trying to get back up the floor, hits Adelphi's player Burke. And so this is Adelphi basketball in the front court, leading 51-49. Now, nobody was looking at the collision that was occurring between Waters and Burke, so I doubt anybody saw it if it was a flop, but it sounded like a train wreck. You could hear it up here. Walton gets the Burke screen, leaves him wide open for 3. Short, and Alexander Windexes the glass. 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, 6 points for Trey. He's got the basketball left dark against Jackson. To the tin, has that shot rejected by Jackson. And in the corner, saved by Price. Price gets his play from Dave Duke, who wants all sorts of people to be moving locations. Walton just ahead of the NE10 logo. Price lost his dribble, 8 to shoot. Inside Burke against Keeley, 4 to shoot. 1-on-1, Burke, righty hook shot off glass, no good. And the rebound to Waters.
You know, that's a good defensive hold, especially after Jamal Waters fall foul. Able to hold that to just a 2-point game. A good timeout call.
Timeout called by Pace, and we'll take one as well. Adelphi 51, Pace 49, 7:31, frozen in red on the second half clock. Back in a dash with more center basketball on NE10 now, courtesy of Flow College.
For too long, the default in medicine has been man. So Northwell created the only network of experts devoted to every aspect of women's health. When we raise the health of women, we raise everyone.
Adelphi 51, Pace 49, 7:31 remaining in the second half. Tim McCaffrey, Jack Cunningham courtside. Hobson leading the way along with Darren Fergus, 10 points apiece. 8 points for Nurse. Trey Alexander has contributed 6. Keeley tallied 6 as well. Boyd 7. Jamal Waters the deuce. Pace down by 2. Keeley, Alexander, Hobson, Nurse, and Boyd out of the timeout. Keeley, hand in the passing lane by Price. Alexander takes a 3 for the lead. No good. Keeley, offensive rebound. And boy, there was a miss, and then a referee called a foul, put his hand up in a fist, and then just signaled out of bounds. We've seen that a couple of times, and never a good sign. An offensive foul called against Hobson. Boy, I haven't seen this official, Jack, Chris Anderson, but that was not a good sequence, because it's either a foul or it's not. And he called the foul, then just said, you know what, we'll just call it out of bounds.
I think that's what the Pace bench was thinking. Everybody kind of jumped to their feet off the bench.
And then you call the offensive foul. I mean, you don't have indecision on that one, too? Shot and the runner. Tough degree of difficulty by Pierre Philippe. Alexander throws it high off glass, no good. And the ball caroms off of Burke out of bounds. Rancy and Burke couldn't get untangled there, and ball hit off one shoulder, then the other, and on the end line. 21 to shoot. Adelphi 51, Pace 49. When you make a call and you don't blow the whistle, you have bad timing. It means your timing's not good. Very frustrating, because you can have bad timing and make the wrong call. Nurse to the rim, has that shot erased by Rancy. Price, another 3. That goes Plinko. 51-49. Pace hasn't scored in coming up on 3 minutes. Alexander tries to remedy that. No good on the bucket, but this is going to be the 4th foul on Rancy.
Yeah, Rancy was running right into the back of Alexander. He took a quick shot.
It is 51-49 Adelphi. Alexander with 2 free throws. This is actually a 1-and-1.
They're going to move Rancy to the bench following that personal.
Well, I mean, now you're in a situation where with 4 fouls, you can dictate terms if you're Matt Healing. Rancy on the bench. Alexander makes the first on the 1-and-1. Trey at 85% on the season, leads the team in points and steals and assists. Well, this one for the tie. It just nips a little bit of rim on its way through. We're tied at 51.
Another tie, Tim. I mean, this game is just unbelievable.
11th tie of the day. Price eludes the defense and lays it in over top of Nurse, and Adelphi back out front, 53-51. Alexander for the tie, you betcha! 10 points for Trey, knotted at 53. Walton spin move and an offensive foul. Deshaun Walton is called for a clear out and an offensive foul, and it's Pace basketball.
Yeah, it's been a physical game throughout tonight, but when you have players in the hardwood that bad, they're flying away from the people on offense, you got to make the call.
Pace 53, Adelphi 53, and what has turned into a game for the ages here in Pleasantville. So glad you've joined us on Flo College and NE10 now. 15th ranked in all the land, Adelphi against the 16th ranked Pace Setters, and it's in Northeast 10 conference basketball action, and we still can't find a winner. Alexander, triple team approaches, over top of Jackson. It misses. And Walton with the strong rebound. And Rancy on the bench means he can't guard the basketball as much on Alexander. Jackson found a seam. And he's fouled. And Dave Duke on the floor. And you know what officials don't like? Officials don't like when you get the call and they're yelling at you. And what Matt Healing wants, and you never really like as an official to come across to signal a foul. You've got both coaches yelling at you. What Matt Healing wants is it's on the pass. Either way, it would be a 1-and-1. But it'll be 2 shots for Mason Jackson, and I'm not sure what Dave Duke was upset about. 60% free throw shooter Mason Jackson makes the first.
Coach Duke's still communicating.
Well, Dave Duke got a technical foul early in the season after a game, which almost cost his team a victory. You've got to know when you get a call to let it go. Second free throw misses, and Adelphi 54, Pace 53. Keeley on the handoff. Boyd, 3 for the lead. It rattles out. It could have went in for the same price, and the fans were ready to explode in Pleasantville. Walton, extra pass in the corner. Valencia 3. That silences the Pleasantville crowd. Adelphi up by 4. That ties for the biggest lead of the game for the Panthers, 57-53, and it is crunch time in Westchester. Alexander through the keyhole. Hesitates on the bounce, takes it to the rim. Hobson, wide open 3, short, significantly gets his own rebound. Hands it to Trey Boyd for 3. That's off the heel, and the foul is called on Boyd as Valencia has the rebound.
It's the 4th personal on Boyd. It's frustrating. You're just trying to make a play at the offensive carom, but able to beat him there.
Now this win would all but ice home court advantage for the entire NE10 tournament for Adelphi. They were 2 games ahead coming in. This would put them 3 ahead and put Pace back in the mix with Bentley and Assumption. Both teams shooting 2 free throws the rest of the way and every defensive foul. Valencia has been quiet, just the 5 points, but he makes the first. Biggest lead of the day for Adelphi, 58-53. And even bigger at 6 points. 59-53 as we approach 4 minutes to play. They were tied at 53 just a few moments ago, and 6-0 Adelphi run. And that's the margin. Nurse over to Alexander. Ramsey on the bench for Adelphi. Alexander tries to take it to the rim. A little too short on the shot. He got set and the defense collapsed on him. Price chests the pass the other way as the ball orbits the perimeter in the corner. Was Jackson. Valencia instead went in the other direction to Walton. Walton on the baseline. Enters into the double team. Burke stepped through. 3 to shoot for Jackson. A dagger 3 if it goes, and it does! Off glass! 9-point game, 9-0 Adelphi run. The Panthers have seized control in Pleasantville in a battle of top 25 teams.
That shot right there quite possibly might be the highest degree of difficulty that we've seen on the court tonight, and we've seen some incredible shots, especially with the atmosphere and how much that bucket means.
The Adelphi Panthers 15th ranked in the nation. Those things mean nothing. What matters is an NE10 tournament title to these 2 teams, finishing first and getting the banner raised. That's what these 2 teams are looking for, and it's been a heavyweight fight between the clubs, and Adelphi's just been the better team for about the last 90 seconds. Hence a 9-0 run, which is where we stand at 62-53 Adelphi.
And in this second half alone, it's just the slightest of splits. 33 points for Adelphi, 28 for Pace, but they're closing in on double-digit deficit.
Speaking of double-digit deficits, a Southern New Hampshire team that is without 3 starters has gone into Stoutenburg and erased an 11-point first-half deficit and now leads by 11. They've outscored St. A's, both teams fighting for its NCAA tournament lives, 42-20 in the second half on the road. You don't know what rivalry games are. I know Pace doesn't have a team like down the street to play. Like maybe if there was another team, like Mercy was in this league and it was that every game. That's what that is. That is a rock fight every day of the week. And sometimes the games in that rivalry in Manchester, it can look like a different, oh, this team's done. There's no way they're coming back. And they played the complete opposite in the second half. Here, with 3 minutes to go, Pace needs to go on a 9-0 run of its own. Keeley lays it up, no good, but a foul is called. Actually, it was good, but a foul was called on the hold away from the bucket. And that's a good foul by Walton because Keeley's not a great free throw shooter, and the odds of him making the layup were probably 100%, and the odds of him making 2 at the free throw line are significantly less. And the first short. Alexander, 10 points, but 4 of 18 shooting today. Both free throws no good, and that just is adding injury to insult. Setters need nothing but stops with any hope of making this a game. And Adelphi with time on its side. Valencio takes the 3, misses. Hobson with the rebound. Pace trails by 9, 2.5 minutes to play. Alexander is cut off once again by the outstanding defense of Adelphi, and a foul called on Price, and it'll be 2 free throws for Trey Boyd. The Setters 2 for 13 from distance in this game. That has been a problem for them. When you can only knock down a couple of threes, and that just need to not allow, as Boyd misses another free throw, you can't allow the defense to completely collapse in the paint, and that is what they are doing on Trey. And one of the reasons he's 4 of 18. Second is good, and now if you're Dave Duke, you just take a couple shot clock violations and don't turn the ball over, and this game's over. Burke almost turned it over, and that's not what Dave Duke's looking for, is a 2-on-1 fast break with Burke and Rancy running it. Coming up on 2 minutes to go. Shot clock has been sliced in half. 8 to shoot. Ball's knocked out of bounds, hand in the passing lane on the pass that was intended in the corner for Burke. 5 to shoot, 2 minutes even on the second half clock, 62-54. Stranger things have happened, but you need to get a stop here and then at some point get a bucket and get a steal. And instead, it's Valencio with a layup. 3 on the other end, Boyd, that misses. And ball is loose on the floor. All sorts of players diving for it. It's a jump ball on the alternating possession. It goes to Adelphi. I'm not sure how that wasn't a foul on the interior. Valencio, he didn't just move in midair on his own, did he?
No, he didn't. And that's exactly why he was arguing underneath the paint instead of trying to run back.
And that's what Burke has just told his coach. He said he had an elbow to his back, which is why he went flying like that.
I mean, at first glance, it looked like a wide open layup. Easy, and then he ended up underneath the hoop.
And Boyd is called for a foul as he stole the basketball. Actually, he didn't steal. He knocked it out of bounds. He had it for a second, but he had a hold of the offensive player in doing so, and if that was allowed, everybody would do it. Adelphi, the better team, over just a very short stretch of the second half. But let's be honest here for a second. Pace got out to the 12-1 lead and then kind of went into cruise control and never got that same energy back that they had in the first 2 or 3 minutes of this game.
Well, you talked about it earlier, Tim, that pace, they're known for getting up early, and they just seem to not build a big enough lead. Their big factor is that their scoring margin is excellent. They just outlast teams once they grab that lead, and Adelphi immediately responded with some buckets of their own.
Deshaun Walton makes the first free throw. He's been quiet, but he's been effective. Misses the second. Walton 14 points, Price 13, Burke 10. Alexander has another shot rejected by Ramsey. That's the fourth block of the day, and I think that should be block number 100 for Ramsey on the season. Timeout called by Pace. Will take one as well. Adelphi 63, Pace 54, 139 remaining in the game. Back in the dash with more Setters basketball on Flow College at NE10 now.
Life's full of choices. Here's a simple one.
Well, I am a bit of a minimalist.
Life's a cruise, that's the move.
Adelphi 63, Pace 54, 139 remaining in the game. It's Keeley, Fergus, Alexander, Nurse, and Hobson, the 5 for Matt Healing. Price, Burke, Walton, Pierre Philippe, and Valencia inbound on the ball. That would make sense to have somebody inbound the ball. Burke gets it to Walton. Boy, a minute going away with the travel. Whatever the case, Price slips and found a wet spot on the floor. And he slips and falls down, and let's hope that he's okay. Boy, you just hate to see that, but just found a little bit of moisture on the basketball floor, and I think he's okay because he'd be writhing in a lot more pain. I think he might have hit his gluteus maximus more than anything else.
They'll still have the athletic trainers to come out, but.
Oh, wow, no, he's not walking off on his own power. Boy, he's a lot tougher than I thought. Boy, oh boy.
Well, the event staff come out right away to try and.
Well, that's not a good sign. Tough game at Southern New Hampshire coming up, where the Penmen have been beset by injuries, and hate to see Adelphi pick up one of their own. They've just been so spectacular and so fun to watch, and injuries do happen to every team, but foul called against the Setters, 63-54. If you're just tuning into this game, what you're seeing is a game that looks well and controlled by Adelphi, and it most certainly is. Pace earlier today went through a stretch of just under 7 minutes without scoring. That took the end of the first half to the second half. And in this game, now currently they've gone nearly 4 minutes without scoring.
Well, it's some of the best defenses in the conference. It was a 13-0 run to end that first half that you're talking about, Tim, and then a couple buckets by Adelphi to even expand a little bit more on that run. before Pace was finally able to break up that run.
Well, the Setters with just one field goal over the last 6 minutes of game action, just not enough. Not enough offense. Fergus throws it out of bounds. Didn't throw it out of bounds. Ends up going a backcourt violation. Nurse and Hobson were right next to each other, and Alexander still, this is a teachable moment, he's still bringing the guys together. Now, there's still a 9-point game with 1:19 to go, and Adelphi hasn't shot great from the free throw line. You might as well give it a whirl, right? Run and jump coming again. Burke eludes. Valencio, or actually Pierre Philippe is fouled. It's hard, Jack. You're going to go 6 minutes. You're going to go 2 stretches, basically, of 7 minutes and have no field goals and 1 field goal. That's conservatively about 14 minutes of game action where you're scoring 1 field goal. Now think about the rest of the game. There's still 26 minutes to play where you've got to score all your points. So you better be very efficient in those 26 minutes.
But even in those certain situations, as we just saw, the Fergus drive and he kicks out in between both Hobson and Nurse. And that one just goes out of play. No one's up there. No one on Adelphi.
He got himself in a position thanks to really good half-court defense where he was into a double team and in a position where he had no place to go. You got to give a lot of credit to the Panthers. They've played great defense. We've seen Pace play really good defense as well, just not quite good enough. This is a 14-1 run over the last 4 minutes to seize control. Nurse for 3, that's good. That narrows the lead to 10, but just the third 3-point make of the game for Jabari Nurse. He's in the double figures and game high total with 11 points. Hobson, Alexander, and Fergus all with 10. Nurse with the 11, his first 3-point make of the day. But we saw the Pace women's basketball team win with either as many or one more turnover than bucket in this game. Pace Setters, 15 turnovers, 18 field goals. You know, it's just generally not the recipe for success. And it hasn't been really one culprit. It's just been the swarming, all-encompassing defense of Adelphi that just hasn't left Pace any room to breathe. And that's normally what we're saying about Pace.
Yeah, and honestly, you'd think like Rancy being knocked out of the game that maybe the defense takes a little bit of a backseat, especially with how good he's been playing against Trey Alexander. That's an interesting matchup they decided to go. But they haven't missed it. They haven't skipped a beat. They have been unbelievable with whoever's been on the floor defensively.
They're a little better without him on the floor tonight, mainly because Price and Burke have been so good. And this is a layup, Jackson, and it ends up being a dunk. Two-hand slam, Mason Jackson. And the clock was still running. I think Dave Duke thought a technical foul was being called, and he was in the please don't phase of his day, but now just an extra 0.6 seconds came off the clock, so 49.7 has been recalibrated to the clock. 12-point game. Adelphi leads, and Alexander lays it in. 10-point game. Trey's got 12, lead all Pace scorers, and a timeout called by Adelphi as this game has hit the mud. Scores from around the NE10. It was Assumption 88, AIC 64. Southern Connecticut 87, New Haven 58. And Bentley, seems like this was an hour ago.
Well, you know,
beat St. Michael's 84-64.
We knew the women's game ran a little long, but like the men's game took its time as well. So
Pace women victorious, 61-45 over the Adelphi Panthers. Both of these teams, men's and women's. For the Pace Setters, back in action on Saturday, 1:30 to start. Alex Zeller and Jack Cunningham will have all the action for the men's and women's doubleheader. Saturday, 1:30 with the women, 3:30 with the men, and maybe it'll be 3:35. You just don't know. Whatever the case, stay tuned to NE10 Front Row. Or no, NE10 Now and Flow Sports. Sometimes you mix in other places you broadcast from?
No,
they just kind of seep into your.
Everything comes all together.
Yeah.
We got an exciting week for Pace also. Not only are two teams, men and women, fighting for higher standing in the NE10, but we also have the return of two of the top teams in the country in terms of spring sports-wise. Men's lacrosse come back on Saturday. That game is set for noon, so that'll be a kind of going together for all you Pace Setters fans between the women's basketball game and the men's lacrosse game. But even before that, women's lacrosse was supposed to play tomorrow, but got pushed back to Friday because of the weather. They're going head-to-head against Roberts Wesleyan. That opening draw control is set for 3:30 p.m. after the reschedule.
You wanted me to do what? Draw control?
Yeah, draw control.
I lost my pen. I'm sorry.
It really,
You are the best at those lacrosse stuff. I don't know the first thing about lacrosse.
Honestly, it is so fascinating about lacrosse how different men and women's play. It's a face-off for men. It's a draw control for women. They brought it.
It would be like saying the opening tip in men's basketball, but by calling it the opening salvo in women's basketball.
Well, draw control is in the air. That they kind of joust for it up in the air. Face-off, you're on the ground. You got to clamp first. So it's two different types. There's a lot of differences.
So do you do both the men's and the women's broadcast here?
I do, yeah.
Wow. And you're in good hands, folks, I can tell you, because Jack knows his lacrosse. Big-time lacrosse player growing up. You like getting hit with the stick, I see it.
Yeah, I was a goalie.
What was that like?
You get a couple that hurt a lot.
Deshaun Walton with the left-hand flush. Put that in your NE10 top plays of the week. Adelphi in no mood to run out the clock in this one. They would like to leave Pleasantville and emphatically let the Pace Setters know who is the best team in the NE10, and they have done that. Alexander easily to the bucket. Extra points for Trey. And a steal for Alexander. I'm not sure what is going on. A three-pointer for Trey. But it looked like players are just falling all over the place. Guys are being held and no calls. And this game's broken out and a wrestling match is taking place. Adelphi 71. I saw a guy being held, and they're like, "Oh, I'm good. Are you good? How you doing?" And it's like, if I just started grabbing you up here, Jack. 71-61. Adelphi leads Pace with 21.6 stuck on the second half clock. So glad that you spent a little bit of your Wednesday evening with us here on Flow College and NE10 now for what was the top 25 game of the day across these airwaves. And Adelphi most certainly has made its presence felt and showed not only this league, the region, but the nation that they are most deserving of the seed, the ranking, and that they are thought to get. Most people have them projected at 2 in the NCAA tournament. Damon at 25-0 this season, the only undefeated team and number 1 in the nation. But Adelphi, they are no slouch themselves. Alexander spins one off glass, no good. The rebound is tipped loose with 12 seconds to go. It comes to Walton, but a foul is called away from the basketball. There'll be more free throws for Adelphi and a 72-61 lead. Well, the Panthers improved to 24-5 on the season, 16-2 in the NE10. They clinch first place. Congratulations to the Panthers. They are at first place in the NE10. The Pace Setters dropped to 21-5 and 13-5 in the NE10. They drop back down into a tie with Bentley for that number 2 position. Assumption just one game back at 13-6. So, or one half game back. Valencio Seals are scoring, and with 10 seconds to go, we'll see if we get one more shot from Fergus or Keeley or somebody left on the floor. Could be James. Fergus, the uncontested finger roll to the bucket, and Adelphi with the 11-point advantage, and that'll do it. The final score here from Pleasantville, New York, in the NE10 Top 25 Showdown was Adelphi 74 and Pace 63. Jack, your final thoughts from Pleasantville?
Yeah, the scoreboard, you can see it's a clear dominant victory by Adelphi, but this game was everything that you wanted, and throughout, up until the latter half of that stretch of the second half, it was neck and neck. So I think, rivalries, the atmosphere, everything about it was just something to love. But Adelphi really came into the Goldstein Fitness Center, and they swept one of the top teams in the country, but made a huge statement.
Adelphi improves to 24-5 overall, 16-2 in the NE10, and claims the #1 seed for the duration of the NE10 tournament and all that comes along with it, including home court advantage for the NE10s. The 16th ranked pace setters dropped to 21-5 overall and 13-5 in the NE10. Once again, the final score here from Pleasantville, it was Adelphi 74 and Pace 63, as we wish you a pleasant good night